We're going to jump into fantasy right now. Hit the waiver wire real quick. I had a really tough loss last week, guys. Put up almost a $140 in this league, and my man, who I faced, had DJ Moore. I have Justin Fields and Kittle and Diggs and Puka. I have a really strong team. Really unfortunate loss. I'm not super upset because I'm in 7th, 1 game out. I also have, I think, the second most fantasy points in this league. This guy has the most. This guy has the second most right here. Third. I have the 4th most points. So if I can get into a tie with some of these guys, hopefully I'll jump them in the rankings. We'll see. I'm facing the guy, my homie Joey D. I'm facing the guy with the 3rd amount of points. I have the 4th amount of points. I do not want to face him this week. I'd really just love a layup 1 week. I have a bid for Amari DeMercado. He's the backup Cardinals running back. I'm really thin at running back. Miles Sanders stinks. Kenneth Walker's been a beast. Khalil Herbert finally had a 20-point week. Then he got hurt. He might hit the IR. So I'm really, really thin. Next week, I got 2 buys. The Panthers, I got Garrett Wilson on bye and Miles Sanders. My backup is Chuba. So if Carolina can figure out the running back situation, I'm not in the worst spot here. But my running back situation is bad. I really hope this bid goes through. My first bid was for Puka, and this is going to have to get me through 3 or 4 weeks because James Conner's supposedly going on the IR. So if he could take some of those attempts and help me out, it would help me tremendously. Now, again, guys, we're going to hit that waiver wire real quick. And I want you guys to search all players. We've been doing this all season. Running backs, filter. How do I figure out? I want to go to average, season average, because you never know. You never know. Yards per game, right? Eckler has the most. Followed. Achan is nuts, by the way. So is there anybody on this page? Chris Brooks has 66. No, they're talking about Jeff Wilson. I don't know if we're going to claim him. So nobody is on the front page in average in the top 25. You'll have to go to the second page, and Justice Hill is here at 28 yards a game. That is whack. So let's go to attempts. Let's see who's getting attempts. Zach Moss with the most attempts. That's going to change. David Montgomery has been probably, if you've picked him in your league, you're probably doing well because he's probably been the best pick of anybody's team in any draft. Right? Pierce is getting a ton. That's interesting. And again, we're just looking to see, is there anyone available, right? Is there anyone available? Deion Jackson on Cleveland. So I believe Deion Jackson was on the Colts. Now he's on Cleveland. He had a bunch of attempts week 1. I guess he went down. Jonathan Taylor's back in town. What else we got here? Keyshawn Vaughn. Holy moly. 9 attempts. Let's check that out. Nope, 1 game. We don't like that. Chris Brooks on Miami. We just checked him out. 9 attempts, 1 game. Miller. Kamara's back. That's no good. Cook. Tony Jones. Tony Jones is also somebody to look at because he was on the Saints getting a couple attempts. Kamara came back to town. He got released. Cardinals claimed him off waivers. So now is it Tony Jones or is it this Mercado kid? And I think it's the Mercado kid because he's been with the team and he knows the playbook. So Tony's probably going to have to learn that over the next couple weeks, but they probably just got that by insurance. So I really don't love a lot of these options at the moment, but let's go to all available. The most fantasy points by a running back is Justice Hill at 33, followed by Latavius Murray. Let's see what he's cranking. He had 10, 8, 6, trending down over the last couple weeks. That is no bueno. But I will tell you this. Against the Giants team, that stinks. The Buffalo Bills, in my estimation, are going to go up big, fast. And if they do go up big, 3 touchdowns, they're just going to run the ball. And if they run the ball, they're probably not going to run it to James Cook. They'll probably put their second or third running back in, who's going to get a bunch of junk points. Latavius Murray is also going to be used at the goal line. So, interesting streamer if you don't have an option. And there's our boy Tony Jones right there in third. Rico, Antonio Gibson, shame. He was such a good fantasy option a couple years ago. Now he stinks. Damian Harris, same deal. Let's check out attempts. And you can always filter here too, right? You could go last 4 weeks. I'd love to see last week. Can we see last week? Yeah, so we could go week 6, projection, week 5, filter, attempts. So Miller got the most attempts last week. Eric Gray got 12. And this is Mercado right here, right? Jordan Mason got a bunch of attempts because they went up big. This is interesting, guys. So this guy right here, I was wondering who the Chicago Bears running back is going to be. So crazy, if you don't know this, you don't follow the Bears. Singletary hurt either his ankle or his knee. I think his knee. So he might hit the injured reserve. Then you had Roschon Johnson, the rookie. He got a concussion. Could he play? Maybe. He got hurt. And then they got another kid behind him who also got hurt. So 3 running backs hurt in 1 game. Extra work due to injuries. Blasting game. I don't even know how to say his name. Rushed 8 times for 26 yards in the Bears' 40-20 win over the Commanders. Khalil Herbert ankle. Roschon Johnson concussion. Travis Homer, that too. Hamstring, all exiting Thursday game early. Blasting game was called on to help ice away the contest with the Bears holding a big second-half lead. Game's touches were his first from scrimmage since arriving in Chicago last season. The only others of his career besides 3 rush attempts with tight ends. Vanderbilt product will very likely be relegated to his customary blocking fullback duties. Okay, so that's not good. 8 attempts though. Probably gonna pass on him. I think the Bears. Let's check the Bears depth chart. So you have Donta Foreman, who used to be a beast. So here you have Khalil. You have Roschon behind him. Foreman is 3rd now. The last time I looked at this, Homer was in the 3 spot, and now Foreman's here. So let's pop over back to fantasy real quick and figure out what's going on with Donta. So they're saying could have role in depleted running back room. Foreman, who has been healthy and active for the Bears' last 4 games, could factor into the game plan week 6. Holy moly. So we have no idea what's going on. There's a huge opportunity here with the Bears for somebody to stream somebody. That's what's going on in this league. I had a trade on the board that I proposed to my buddy. I had to pull it, and I'll go through it just so you guys can see. This was the trade. It was to this kid right here. Now, I got 4th most points in the league. I probably shouldn't be worrying, but it was Mike Evans, Kyron Williams, and Kelsey. That's who he was going to give me. And I was going to give him Garrett Wilson, Stephon Diggs, who were my 1 and 2 picks, but Garrett Wilson is basically... He's not terrible. I mean, he's ranked 85. He had a 12-point, 15-point, and 10-point week. It's just, he's not a second-round pick, right? And I was going to give him Miles Sanders, who frickin' I can't stand. This was his one nice week. Everything else has been a disaster. 1 point last week. He fumbled early. They probably benched him. And I don't care because I have Chuba. So if they want to put Chuba in, whatever. But I was going to give him Stafford, Miles Sanders, Stephon. Oh, and I was going to give him Kittle. Now, I proposed this early in the day. Kittle goes off at night. Kelsey gets hurt. So I pull the offer. So originally, this is the way I looked at this trade. Was Diggs and Kelsey are both first-round picks, right? But the way I'm looking at it is I'm trading Kittle and I'm upgrading to Kelsey. That's not deniable, right? I'm trading Wilson, right? And I'm upgrading to Mike Evans, in my opinion, right? And then I'm getting Kyron Williams for Stephon Diggs, which obviously he's getting the better end of that deal. But Kyron has 2 25-plus point weeks, plus a 17-point week. Gets a ton of attempts. He's on a Rams team with McVay that moves the ball. So my flex was really weak. My running backs were really weak. And I just looked at it like I can upgrade my tight end. I can upgrade my wide receiver 2 to Mike Evans. And I can upgrade my running back. I can upgrade 3 positions. Now, I lose Diggs, but if you look at my team, I got Puka. So I lose these 2 guys. Then I got Puka, Mike Evans, and surprisingly, Tutu Atwell has been super sneaky. 15, 11, 15. I don't know if I want to start him, but I picked up Rashee Rice. He dropped 11, grabbed a tutty from Mahomes. If Kelsey's hurt, he's obviously got to spread the ball around. I'd basically have to stream a receiver, but at minimum, maybe Khalil Herbert comes back. He finally had that big week here. He had 7 points before he got injured. He definitely could have ended up with 15 points. So I could have kept Khalil Herbert, and then figured out my flex, I would have had Kenneth Walker, Kyron Williams, Puka, Mike Evans, Kelsey, Justin Fields. So his team is looking decent. Fields is ranked 8. Stephon Diggs ranked 13. Puka ranked 18. So I have 3 of the top 18 ranked players. Kenneth Walker ranked 41. He didn't play last week because he was on bye. Kittle Kittle had a 30-point week and he's still 26. So that's a problem. But, if I have 3 of the top 18 ranked guys, my team has a chance. So I really need a big win this week. I got Joe D up next. He's got Saquon in his lineup currently. This is going to be huge for me if Saquon doesn't play, because I don't want to play Saquon. And he just lost James Conner. So this bench is really weak. If Saquon can't go, I'm in good shape. If I get Mercado and box him out of it, I'm in good shape. These projections, disaster. I'm always projected less, but we'll see what happens. Now we're going to bounce over to Barry Badgernath. Who's Barry Badgernath? So I like this team, guys. It's pretty solid besides my receivers. I have too many running backs. Kamara's back for real. I have Mostert. Achane just went down, so he might be prime running back again. And guess what, guys? If you don't know this, Raheem Mostert's ranked 11. He had a 25 and a 41-point week, and he still had a 15-point week with Achane in. So, and I have Brees and Gibbs on the bench. So I got Kamara, Mostert, and I'm playing Kyron this week. I got Burrow, who finally showed up, 23 points against Arizona, right? And I got Lamar Jackson against Tennessee. I have Puka. D-Hop finally showed up last week, dropped an 18 spot, 11 targets, 8 receptions, a $140. Puka, obviously the real deal, right? Drake London stinks. T. Higgins, I had this Joe Burrow, T. Higgins thing lined up. Didn't work. So ideally, all these trades you see proposed, what I do is I just say, all right, I need a trade a running back for a receiver. So I basically just offered Kamara for like the top 5 receivers. Is anybody going to accept? Probably not. But if anybody's deep at wide receiver, Kamara for Diggs. Probably not going to happen. Kamara for DJ Moore after a 50-point week. Last week, probably would have got accepted. This week, now this kid's going to think DJ Moore's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Kamara for Devontae Adams. 29, probably not going to happen. Minus this 35-point week, him and Kamara are basically the same player, though. And also, if Kamara has a 35-point week, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. Then D-Hop and Kamara for Jamar Chase, also probably not going to happen. And then D-Hop and Breece Hall for Jamar Chase. Because I have Burrow, I'd love to get Chase. I'm happy to do a 2-for-1. I don't think any of those trades are getting accepted. I might have reached for Kamara. But listen, Kamara looks like he's back to full form. I'm just saying, I don't know how good he's going to be in this league. I just put up a $140. My man Voss put up a $186. I'm in 9th here, 2-3. Only the top 4 make it in this 10-team league. But again, one more win, and I'm floating around here. I have the least amount of points because I put up 50 points week 1. I think we went over this, guys. I had, when they post the duds on Fantasy Sports, I had 3 of the 5 duds on my team week 1. And as you can see, Drake London and T. Higgins both dropped goose eggs. Joe Burrow had 3 points, and Lamar Jackson had 6. So between Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Drake London, I got 9 points from 4 players. I have never, look at this, 51 points that week. Holy moly, that is the worst thing I've ever seen. And now we're going to jump in to my last league, where I was about to give up on this league and just punt and trade for picks, but then I beat this kid who arguably had one of the best teams, and I kind of punted one week, which I shouldn't have done because now I'd be 3-2 right now. I have 572 points, which is right in the mix around here, 5, 6, 7, right? These 3 teams are probably the strongest, but I just made a really big trade. I traded, I'm going to show you guys, where is it? I traded a bunch of garbage and my first, 3rd, and 5th round pick for next year for Tua, Ayuk, and Bijan. So Bijan's, you're trading Bijan for the number 1 pick. I traded Tua for the my number 3 pick next year. I will be able to keep Tua, I think, as a 3rd round pick next year, which is important in this league because all the quarterbacks go week 1. He's got 230 pieces, right, with no ending in sight. I mean, Carolina, he's going to go ballistic on next week. Philly, I think it'll be a shootout. New England, I mean, he dropped 14 on them last time. He'll probably score less than 20. And then KC should be a shootout. So I'm going to have Tua and Herbert. Ayuk has been definitely the most targeted receiver in San Francisco. I know Kittle took over last week, but, I mean, look at this. Ayuk dropped 35, got hurt, 18, and again, Kittle got all the touchdowns last week. Don't love all this red here, but I think Ayuk's primed. He was getting targeted a lot. So I'll get a two round 9s and 1 round 10 pick back in return for the 135. And then my team is going to look like Herbert, Tua will slide in here. I'll have Mike Evans and Ayuk. I'll have Mostert, Bijan, Jerome Ford. I have Achane. I have Christian Watson on bye. I have Brian Robinson. I got a couple guys who I can kind of slot in. KJ Osborne, guys, I don't know if we talked about this, but Justin Jefferson's about to be on the shelf for a minimum 4 weeks, maybe more. I think KJ Osborne's a huge pickup if you can grab him in any league. And as I say that, I'm probably going to try to pick him up. I'm already on the waiver for 2. Let's see if I could get him in this one as well. He might be on a team in this one, though. Oh, he's not. So, yeah, I gotta put a waiver claim in for him. I don't know if I'm going to win that Mercado, so I guess I'm just going to throw a 21 piece here. Can I not do that? Maybe it's too late. Maybe I'm too late on the claim. Well, I tried. Hopefully I'll get him in 2 leagues. And that's what my weeks are looking like. I'm kind of happy because I got a win in these 2 leagues. Not in a great position in any standings, but my teams are playing well. And in this one, I lost, but again, I have the 4th most amount of points, so I'm not going to be too upset about that.